Hey guys, this is Tara with Teaching on Lemon Lane, and this is your video walkthrough for the Design a Costume product. Right here, we've got some fun examples just to give your students an idea of what they can be doing or creating. How to use with distance learning. The first thing that I suggest that you do is that if you're going to be using the digital version of this product, you need to make a student copy. So to make a student copy, you don't want to use the file that you will be viewing right now. That would be considered your master copy. So we're going to create a student copy. So to create a student copy, you click on the slides that you want students to be able to see and interact with. So you may decide to include the examples of the completed ones. You may even include the instructions here, the instructions for inserting it. So what you're going to do is you'll either hold down Shift or the Command button, depending on which type of computer you're using. I'm using a Mac, so I use Command. I hold down Command and I click on the slides that I want. So I click on the instructions, these instructions, the Google Search Word Bank, along with one of the digital templates. I can also scroll down here and include the digital graphic organizer and the digital final draft. So from that point, now that I've selected those, I can take my finger off of the command button, and without clicking anything else, I'm going to come up here and I will click on File, and then you click on Make a Copy. And then you're going to click on selected slides. And what that's going to do is that you could go ahead and say, design a costume student version. Then we would click OK. And it's going to create a copy of those slides only, allowing you to easily assign those to the students. So that's what this instruction page is for, is kind of going through and explaining that and then how to jump into it. Let's jump into the instruction page. You'll notice here, if you're having students design a costume for you, you would put your name in here. Or if they're designing a costume for themselves, you can kind of edit the instructions based on that. All of the text is editable. These instructions are important to have in there. These are basically a step-by-step guide as to how to use my picture placeholders. This might look complicated to you, but it's actually extremely easy. So let's go ahead and look at that. Before I quickly show you how to insert a picture using the Google search into the placeholder, let's go ahead and jump right into this page, the Google Search Word Bank. This is important to include and to go over with your class, because this is going to really help filter out the results that they get when they do their little Google search for images. The types of images that your students are going to want to see or use or utilize often will have one of these keywords. So I encourage them to use, maybe they are doing a soldier. So obviously we could do camo, but even searching camo isn't enough. You'll get a lot of different variations of images and maybe people. And so to make sure that we refine that, make sure that students are searching something like camo background or camo pattern or camo fabric. That way they get a very full image that inserts into those placeholders really nicely. So consider that as your students are doing their Google search. These words especially are going to be helpful. Pattern, background, fabric, paper design, wallpaper, all of those are great options to really refine that search. Let's go ahead and jump in and get an idea of what it is that I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and zoom out, and you can see all of the tools that I've included for you or your students to create a really great costume. So when I refer to picture placeholders, I am talking about these pattern pieces right here. And they are a picture placeholder because I can insert a picture either from my device or from a quick Google search into them, and it will automatically fit and crop. So let's say that maybe we were doing a ghost, right? So I just need a white fabric. So I click and drag this over. And now when I select a picture placeholder, you'll notice this option right here pops up, replace image. When I'm not clicking on a picture placeholder, that replace option is not there. So click on the picture placeholder, then I come up here to replace image, and then I'm going to search the web. So let's say that this is going to be a ghost. So I'm looking for white, maybe tattered fabric. And we'll see what we get. And not awesome results. So I'm going to take out tattered, and I'm just going to search for white fabric. And here's some better choices. I like this one, so I'm going to double click, and you'll notice it automatically inserts that into the picture placeholder. So what students are going to be able to do is that they're going to be able to jump in here and design a costume like the ones that you see here simply by using these picture placeholder shapes and the accessories that I've included and already sized to the proportions of the scale there. Now, my favorite part about this is that you can actually insert your own picture. So you can insert your own picture, or the students can even insert their own picture into the headshot here. The way that you're going to do that is that you're going to need a headshot. Your school picture is a great option because often school pictures are taken head on. So whatever picture you decide to use, whether it's yours or one of your students, or if you're taking a picture to use, make sure that you are facing the camera square on and that you're looking straight ahead. And that will just help with when you size it. So let's go ahead and I'll insert a headshot just to give you an idea as to what that looks like and how you can crop that in. So to insert a picture into the digital template, you simply just click where you want it to go on the head. I do want to mention that the printable ones that I've included also include a picture placeholder, even though you can't see it. So if you're wanting to print these out and then have students create their costume on a, paper, this is an option as well. And this prevents you from having to, print out your picture and then cut it and then scan it and make all of it. So this is much more automatic. So that is an option as well if you want to do it on the printable options. But let's jump back into this digital one and I'm going to show you how you do that. So we click on the picture placeholder, replace image pops up, I click down, and then if you're uploading your own picture, you're going to click upload from your computer, and then you're going to click on the image that you're inserting. Just for this example purpose, we're going to just do a quick Google search. So we'll just say headshot. And this is a great one. She is looking forward. She's straight on with the camera. Now notice, this is not proportional. So if you insert your picture, it will most likely not be cropped to the size that you need it. So in order to fix that, all you're going to do is double click. And when you double click, you now have the crop options. Now we are not going to crop the circle down or anything because the circle is exactly the size that we want it to, proportional to the accessories. But we are going to click on these little blue squares that allow us to make the image larger. Now we're closer, but notice it's not in this circle anymore. So I just clicked and dragged. Now I'm going to click on the image and I'm going to slide it over. I double clicked, so excuse that. And I'm going to slide it right where I want it. Still not the size that I want, so I'm going to, again, click on the diagonal and scale it out. Make sure that you never click, especially when you're working with pictures, don't click on these or else it's going to distort your picture. So always size and scale from the diagonal. And I'm just going to go ahead and get it centered. I want it scaled in a little bit more. All you want in this in the face is the face. So we're just going to keep sizing it until the chin and the headshot lines up just right. And again, I can click once and drag it. Oh, too far. A little bit more, and we've got it. Once I've got the picture zoomed where I want it to, I simply click off. Now what you're going to do is students are going to use those picture placeholders. I'm going to go over this in detail in another video tutorial. This is one that students will be able to watch so they get a better idea. But just to give you kind of a fun idea, you can grab one of the wigs, slide it over, and we're going to add it. And most, if not all, should be sized just right. One of my other favorite details is the glasses. Many of them have transparent lenses, so you can still see the eyes. Now you'll notice I went to click on the glasses and I got the hair instead. This is one issue that your students will likely run into. The issue that they're going to run into is all about layers. This whole look is created with layers. So that means that my glasses actually went behind my hair. And because there's so many layers, you can't just send something to the back. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move my hair out of the way. I'm going to take the glasses, place the glasses where I want them, and then I can go ahead and put the hair on if I like the hair over the glasses. If I wanted the glasses in front of the hair, then I'm simply going to click arrange, order, and bring it all the way to the front. Do not send something all the way to the back. If you do that, you're going to lose stuff and things are going to disappear because this is all based on layering. So you can bring something all the way to the front, but do not send it all the way to the back. So if students are having an issue, they go to put something in and it keeps clicking on the wrong thing and they can't click on the glasses because the glasses are behind the hair, simply move the layer out of the way, place the layer that's behind where you need it, and then move the layer back on top of that. That's the best way to kind of avoid that issue that your students will run into. So be aware of that. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Other things to be aware of, you can technically, these are just guidelines. So if I wanted to do, say, a mermaid tail, and I'm going to create it with this shape here, when I go to place it over the feet, I can still see the feet and that's bugging me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just delete the bottom half. And this allows me to create the bottom half just by using shapes. So the body guidelines, they're really just kind of a guideline. But if the students get the person created or the costume created and then they don't like those lines, you can actually go in and delete them. So that is something to keep in mind. Let's go over the next thing. I also want to show you how you can edit the background. This is where the digital costumes really come to life and can be really fun. So to edit the background, what you're going to do is you're going to click here on that button. So notice when I click on the button, the replace image again pops up. So I click replace image and we're going to do a search the web. And let's say that we did a witch costume. So I'm going to look up a haunted house, and I can just do haunted house or I can add background to that. Again, those keywords with your Google search really help filter through kind of our results. And so I've got some really fun ideas. I look at my options and I like this one. So to insert this as my background, I simply just double click, or I can single click and then click replace image, and it inserts the backdrop in for me, creating a really great finalized digital look. You can print these off when they're done and display them. But if you're like me and the thought of doing all of that ink kind of makes you cringe, instead of doing a digital background, another option that is more printer friendly is simply to insert a white backdrop. So when we search the web, my trick for this is to just simply do a white background, and I search. And there's plain white. And sometimes you might have to pick a different one if it doesn't work, but I double click. And there is a plain white background, which means the only ink that I would be using is what I've used with the costume that would be printed. So if you're wanting to print and display the digital costumes, this is a great way to save ink. Let's jump into the printable versions. Again, remember there is a picture placeholder there. So you can insert a headshot into the printable versions and then print it from there, allowing students to very easily, draw or use markers or materials. And you'll just do the same thing, double click, scale it to size to create that headshot. And then you simply would print out the printable page with the head already in it. So this prevents you from having to do kind of the scan and print. So a little bit simpler, and then students would just design the costume by hand. I've also included this dashed line, so if you want to display it, you can cut off the instructions, and it just makes things a little bit more finalized there. Oh, next thing to notice with the printable option, you've got a couple options here. You'll notice this body outline, it's a darker, very solid line, easy to see. My issue with this is that when students, add things on top of it, you can always see that black line. So I like the fainter line that allows them to very easily cover it, but they still have this as a nice kind of guide as they create their different designs. Another option is to not have the circle head there that limits them. Again, there is a picture placeholder if you want to add that in though. So a couple options with the printables. Let's jump into our graphic organizers. This is if you teach writing and you want to do a really great persuasive essay about which costume is the ultimate Halloween costume. This is made with a digital aspect in mind. So a graphic organizer is where students kind of plan out everything. This is editable. So you can edit this to how you teach your writing. This is what I do. Here's a more printer friendly option. Also editable. You also have a place where they can draft it out. If you do print this one, remember to delete this option here so students can type their design. Another printable option here, a bit more printer friendly. The next version that I want to go through is the voting kit. So this is really fun. Once students have completed their designs, it's a great idea to actually poll the class or poll the school or poll the grade to see which costume design came out the best. I've included a voting kit. One way you could do that is by typing in the title or printing this off and having students write in the title, and then they simply show their vote with the X here and their name goes here, and then you tally up the votes. I'm a fan of digital voting. It keeps things pretty simple. So you could just, put in a quick question in your Google Classroom, or you can use the form that I've created here. To use the form, you simply click on this link and it's going to force a copy of it. So you would say, yes, make a copy. And here is your poll. So you're able to go in and edit this. This is now your own copy of it. Or you can just use what I have. Students type in their name. They agree that they can only vote once, that their vote is based on creativity, not popularity or friendship, and that they can't vote for themselves. And then they give reasons as to why they voted for the costume that they did. And you go in here and you have the different titles or the students' names. Or my favorite option, if you have the time, or you could even have students add this, is to add the picture of your costume so they can actually see the image that they are voting on. But that is inside here. You simply just click on that link to access that voting form. Costume awards. This is another fun way. You can actually go in and award the costumes. A teacher tip is that these are technically digital stickers, so you can control and copy, and then we could go up to the design that we wanted to award it to. Control V to paste. There we go. So overall best costume. So you'll have your overall. The text is editable. Notice when I change the size of that, however, though, the text does not change with it. So you're best suited to keep the ribbon the size that it is. You'll notice I've made, I think, over 25 awards that have already been created with a category. You can go in and edit any of the titles, though. So you've got your different options of these awards to use. You can print them and give them to the students, or again, these can be used as a digital sticker, which is really fun. Last but not least, let's jump into the bulletin board kit. So I'll zoom in here to give you an idea of kind of what I've included and what you can do to create a digital display. So I've got an oversized ribbon. I've got the lettering that you can edit. I decided to go with costume party, but you could have it whatever you want with the lettering. We've got some cute banners and the little circle options. When you display it, you can display just the costumes, or you could display it with their persuasive essay. Remember, if you don't want to print out the full color, you can insert a white backdrop so it's more printer friendly with that option. But you'll notice we've got some different borders to pick through. Obviously, you'll need more than one page if you're doing a full bulletin board. So to make a duplicate of this slide, you're going to right click on the slide and then you would hit duplicate, and you would just continue to duplicate for as many of the borders as what you would need. So 2 options with the borders. You can also layer them. A large ribbon, which I think turned out so fun. This is also a kit to make the oversize. So you would print off all those 4 pieces and then put it together. And then here's the lettering. I already have costume party ready to go. However, you can go in and edit the text to whatever you would like it to be. Let's see. And then lastly, we've got the banner. Technically, you can put a letter on the banner. I'll zoom out so you can see that. Each of those include that. So that's everything. If you have other questions that I did not address, please let me know and I will make sure that we go over them and answer them quickly. I'm so excited for you to try this with your class. I think that it is going to be so much fun for you and for them. Remember, if you want more of a breakdown as to how I created the digital looks that I've used in these templates, go watch the other video where I do a brief walkthrough of creating an actual costume. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.